I call to order a regular session of the Board of Education of Pearl River County School District being held September 14th, 2023, beginning at 5:30 p.m. at the Pearl River Central Middle School Library, 7391 Highway 11, Carroll, Mississippi. Please join me for prayer. Heavenly Father, we come to thank you once again for this day. We actually Heavenly Father to watch over this board and guide our hearts as we debate and make decisions about the school district. We ask you to bless our students, Heavenly Father, as they go through another academic year. Bless all of our academic professionals, Heavenly Father. Just bless them and give them wisdom to guide these students in the path you would have them to go. We ask you also to bless this community, Heavenly Father, and strengthen us so we all know one call. Bless those that are also serving in positions where they are first responders and also the military and police, Heavenly Father. Keep them safe from all hurt and Heavenly Father, we thank you, Son, who died on the cross. These blessings, our blessing, yes, your daughter, Son, Jesus, we pray. Amen. Amen. Craig, we have some more respect. Chief Craig, our NRTC chief.
Yes, sir. Good evening, board. Everyone is coming. Today we have with us Cadet Chief Petty Officer Tyler Keel, who's a PRC senior. Coming in to the page for our young leading cadets, shining stars, getting ready to leave us.
Petition to I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In God we trust.
Thank you, Chief Craig, and also Petty Officer Cadet Keel. We appreciate you each time you come to our board. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now let's bring us to our public comment. We see we do have one gentleman signed up for comment, Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller, did you get a chance to read our policy on public comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we understand that we generally limit those comments to 3 minutes.
Yes.
And then there are certain topics that are prohibited from talking about in public comments. You know, you saw it talking about individual students, information that's protected by privacy laws, things of that nature. And also we want to remind you that the board does not necessarily debate or give you feedback on this thing, but if there's something that we feel we need to address, we'll talk to our superintendent about it. So you have 3 minutes. Our secretary, Mr. Harris, we keep the time.
Yeah.
The dice is yours.
School board members, superintendent, thank you, Rick. Can you hear me? I'd like to address the policy and how it deals with the school board policies that deal with bullying and how those situations are handled. Try not to get into it too much. There was an incident that occurred, but the current policies are in place, even though the individual was suspended or whatever, was still allowed to attend extracurricular events, and then it continued there. He's threatened my daughter. He's made inappropriate comments to my daughter. And the way it's being handled, and even reading through the guidelines in the student handbook and the district handbook, it really doesn't lay out a proper way to handle that. And it's a very serious situation. Some of the things he said to my daughter, he told her she should commit suicide. And then when he approached her at the game, the look on the fear in her face when that student approached, she doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel like if she goes.
For a minute, I know that you mentioned your daughter multiple times, so you really start talking about your daughter, and even in public comments, you really can't be talking about your own.
Sorry. So I'd like the policy to be addressed and maybe a more stricter guidelines laid out on how these situations are handled, how they will be dealt with, how the parents of the victims will be notified. And, you know, because when I'm telling my daughter it's been handled, and, you know, it said the students, you know, don't feel that. They don't feel that when they go to administration that it's really being handled like it should, that they still feel it's a safety conducive learning environment. And I'd like that addressed and handled, and then, you know, figure out if those policies can be updated and changed.
Okay. All right, thank you. Could I have a motion to consider the agenda?
Motion to consider the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Dice. Any comments on the agenda?
Mr. Fraser, if we could, amend the agenda, we pull off on the consent agenda, which is, 1.8. We can pull off items C and K. Remove those from the agenda. Or we can do that. C and K.
Okay, and would that move the other numbers up by 2? The other item?
That's up to y'all. You can leave it how it is. I'm fine.
Okay. So we're moving C and K. I'll just remember that. Anything else on the agenda?
Are we pulling those to consider them separately? Completely removed.
Anything else about the agenda? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approve the agenda with the amendments as requested, then we indicate by saying yay. Yay. Any opposers? There be none, motion passed unanimously. Could I have a motion to consider approving the board minutes of August 10th, 2023?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Herring. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Odom. Any comments or questions about the agenda? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the board minutes of August 10th, 2023, then indicate by saying yay. Yay. Any opposers? There be none, the motion passed unanimously, the minutes are approved. Brings us to our superintendent report.
Before we do the superintendent's report, I've asked Mr. Austin Alexander, the principal at the high school, to come forward, introduce our new student representative, Ms. Cleo, and she will give her report to the board after the introduction.
Please,
Thank you, Mr. Childs, and good afternoon, board.
Alexander.
I am excited and honored to be up here today to introduce, our new school board representative and student body president, Ms. Cleo Cleo Bourne. I've had the privilege of knowing and working with Cleo since her 7th grade year in middle school. Cleo is very hardworking. She's very intrinsically motivated. She's a very, she has high expectations for herself. She has high expectations for our student body. And we've had an opportunity to speak about those, not only with myself, but with Mr. Childs. I'm extremely excited for what she can do for our school district, our students. Just to let you get to know Cleo just a little bit. As I said, she's a hard worker. She's a member of the varsity soccer team. She's a member of Central Attraction Show Choir, where she serves as a dance captain, sectional leader. She's a member of the Baby Club, National Honor Society, a member of the Peppers Group, and she has served on the student council for the past 4 years while in high school, most recently last year serving as vice president. I am, like I said, excited to work with Cleo. We've talked about making PRCHS the #1 high school in the state, and I know that she is going to represent the student body in this district extremely well. So really please join me in welcoming Ms. Cleo Bourne.
Yeah, we certainly do want to welcome you to the board. I just kind of thinking back in the past few years since I've been on the board, we've had wonderful representation from all our students, and we certainly expected the same thing from you. We certainly appreciate that. And one of the things we want to endeavor going forward is that we haven't really been able to utilize our student representatives as much as we like to. So there certainly will be times we will be asking you your opinion about things that go in the district as well. So again, we got high expectations in welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm Cleo. I am a senior at the high school, as Mr. Alexander said. Thank you for introducing me, Mr. Alexander. I am beyond excited for this achievement and for this ability to be able to join you guys this year, this school year. And we have an amazing student council that has already talked about attending some of our, also attending some of these meetings as well, just so that we have some more students involved across our campus, because we make up a majority of it, and I want us to be able to be heard, and I know that you guys will listen. So I got Mr. Alexander to help me on this first meeting and just getting in contact with all of the high school and the middle school, the Endeavor and the elementary school principals. So here are their reports. All right, I'm going to start with the Endeavor school. PRC Endeavor is also a certified energy bus school and utilizes the program to support the AAA plan aimed at improving student attendance, achievement, and attitude. On August 11th, Endeavor held its first energy bus student rally to promote student buy-in and positive school culture. Endeavor served 42 students for the month of August. Current data indicates 16 students enrolled to be on level 1, 5 students on level 2, and 21 students on level 3, i.e. the highest level indicator of students meeting Endeavor's AAA program schools. Student leveling up each week earn additional privileges and participation in an array of campus incentives and activities that promote positive school culture and student accountability. For the elementary school, PRCES has had a great start to the 2023-2024 school year. We welcome 204 4-year-olds to our new preschool class. We also had 240 kindergarten students who are enjoying their first experience being a Blue Devil. The theme at the elementary this year is Dream It, Achieve It. Staff dress up as their favorite Disney characters to welcome students on the first day. 4th and 5th grade students who scored the maximum points possible on their state tests in the spring were recognized last month and treated to cupcakes. In addition, the name of the students and teachers are displayed on a banner in the cafeteria. We are proud of the academic progress of our students. Friday, August 25th was our first leader parade of the school year. Students enjoyed recognizing peers who are leaders in the classroom. Students have completed their STAR Universal Screener. Our teachers are navigating a new ELA curriculum and have spent lots of time preparing lessons to meet the needs of their students. This year, the elementary implemented a student advisory program where staff members checked in with a designated group of students and reviewed student academic, behavioral, attendance, and personal goals. All students have goal cards and are working towards meeting their goals. PRCES is dreaming and achieving this year. All right, for our middle school, PRCMS is now an Energy Bus certified school for the 2023-2024 school year. We are using John Gordon's bestseller, The Energy Bus, to help our students maintain positive attitudes. Our fall sports and activities are in full spring. We recently celebrated homecoming week where our students were able to dress up each day of the week. The homecoming princess for the PRCMS was Micah Galloway. This past Saturday, students were also able to attend a homecoming dance in the cafeteria. We have observed solid instruction and we are excited about the opportunities to come when we analyze our data from the first benchmark in October. The upcoming events for the middle school include September attendance push, Red Ribbon Week, commit to graduation, celebration of MAP scores, and house rallies. For our high school, the high school had an extremely busy but productive month of August, and we are all excited to see where this year takes us. To kick things off, students are welcomed back on campus with an epic welcome back rally. Students who scored proficient or advanced on their state assessments from last year were celebrated with a nacho average student nacho party. Seniors who purchased their reserved parking spots had the opportunity to display their artistic abilities during the senior parking paint party. Later in the month, our student clubs were put on display during Club Rush. Students were able to check out every club on campus to see what they have to offer. Fall sports, including golf, swim, cross country, football, and volleyball, are in full swing, and Meet the Devils was hosted to introduce our football, band, cheer, and dance teams. Homecoming is around the corner, and Spirit Week days have been set. Our student council is currently working hard to finalize plans for the homecoming dance scheduled for October 7th. PRCHS is fueled up, packaged, and prepared to travel the road to success. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great report. Very on ticket.
Thank you, Ms. Cleo. We did have an opportunity to sit down with her and Mr. Alexander in his office and had a real good meeting. I'm really impressed with her leadership abilities, and so I'm excited about her being part of this board as a student representative. Our superintendent's report will start with August employees of the month. The elementary, our phenomenal teacher, Lisa Calabrese. Our spectacular support staff, Carla Camley. Middle school, our phenomenal teacher, Brittany Pinton. Spectacular support staff, Karen Batwell. High school, phenomenal teacher, Gabrielle Lemoyne. Spectacular support staff, Karen Rogers. At the district level, our transportation support staff, Susie Dearman. Food service support staff, Cherie Clavier. District support staff, Amanda Stewart. Athletics activities coach, Jacob Webb. Our administrator of the month, Crystal Penton. And our maintenance staff, Chris Simple. So congratulations to all of these employees for August. Our maintenance did the final walkthrough with our baseball and softball complex. Final punch list will be available in October. After board approval tonight, the retainage fee will be paid, and then final payment for the electronic upgrades will be made in October. So we're excited that project is coming to completion. 6 of our 10 school buses have been delivered or being used by transportation. The other 4 school buses should arrive by the end of the month. Mr. Hyman actually told me yesterday that we're hoping by the end of next week, we'll have those other 4 buses in our fleet. So we're real excited about our new school bus. On August the 15th, WRJW invited me to highlight the strengths of our district. We had a great session with the people there at WRJW, and I want to thank them for hosting me and being able to broadcast the things that are going on in the district. The admin team, including myself, Dr. Bodwin, Ms. Kimberly Alford, have performed several walkthroughs with our teachers to get feedback. In addition, our school level admin have already completed numerous walkthroughs with our teachers. This feedback helps identify areas of growth for all of our teachers throughout the district. And one of the biggest things that I think that they've noticed, not just our central office admin, but at our school level, is that we've been able to support our new believers, which is really important because a new teacher, whether they're a first-year teacher or a veteran teacher, they need support as they navigate our school system, our district. Every district is different in how we teach and the curriculum we use. So it's important that our new blues are supported in every way that we can for that particular group. And I want to thank our assistant superintendents for doing a great job at the beginning of the year, acclimating them to our district, and especially helping support our mentors. Because sometimes I've seen districts just send those mentors out and say, here, mentor this new teacher, but then our admin team at the central office did a great job giving our mentors ways to help support their new books. So great job there. This concludes the superintendent report of operations. Mr. TJ Burleson is not here tonight. He is at the NASBO meeting. He's actually president of NASBO this year. So he did say that if there were any questions in terms of financial issues that he could, I could get him on the phone if y'all have any issues there. So appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share this with y'all in the district.
I had one question again about the buses. I know we certainly are really excited about having those new buses. And I think I talked to Mr. Hyman, and he was talking about buses that were not available, have been completed. Just the air conditioning piece was what was missing.
That was the last thing.
So even though the buses have been ready, the air conditioning was not.
Yeah, several of them had to. There was a separate facility that actually installs the air conditioning. So you have the framing building of the bus, and then that, and I didn't even know that until we were sitting down looking at it. But you have to send it to another facility to actually install that equipment to make it available to be used with the air conditioning systems.
Look at 100-degree weather we've been having the last few weeks, so they do the students on that bus.
That's exactly right. So we're looking forward to all those buses having it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay.
We had some other reports on the superintendent from the accident, and we get a chance to look at those on your own.
Yeah, I did want to point that out. The financial reports and the district level reports are included in the package. I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Fraser. I appreciate you reminding me of that.
No problem. Could I have a motion to consider approving the following financial items? And if the board so chooses, we're going to take that item A through Z. A through Z. Have a motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Herring. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Any question or discussion on the financial items? And again, that's item A through Z. Yes, sir. Yes. Recuse yourself.
You want to vote on all the items except that one? There's a motion, and I don't know. Accuse himself on that particular item,
Yeah, I'm not even sure which item it is. So,
which.
Sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
we can do that. We'd already put the agenda up already. That should have been done. So So let's go ahead and recuse yourself. Let the record show that Mr. Oley is recusing, vote on the financial items. Seattle. Did want to mention again on that Title I program application. I know everybody got a chance to read all 104 pages of that. All right, anything else? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the financial items A through Z, then indicate they're saying yay. Yay. Any opposers? There be none, motion passed unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Oda, for alerting us to that item. Could I have a motion to consider the consent agenda, and that's item A through M, with the changes of deleting item C, that's consent agenda item C and item K. Those have been eliminated.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Dice. To have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Harry. All in favor of approving the consent agenda with the exceptions of item C and K, then indicate by saying yay. Yay. Any opposers? There be none. Motion passed unanimously. Policies. I have a motion to consider approving section I. This with the exception of the policy IHA, IDLBC, IHAA, and IDCAB. We have a motion.
Make a motion, we consider approving section 1 with the exception.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Dice. Any discussion on those policies, section I? Again, we review these policies on an annual basis, and we set a section or combination of sections every month, and this is review these policies here, and there were no recommended changes, so these are the same we had last year. In addition to comments. Now I call for a vote. All in favor of approving section I with the exception so noted, then indicate by saying yay. Yay. Any opposers? There be none, motion passed unanimously. To have a motion to consider approving PRC administration recommended revisions to policy IHA, IDLBC, IHAA, IDCAB, and CN. Have a motion.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Dice. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. You know, these policies, there were some minor changes in grammar and very minor changes. The policy in itself essentially stays the same. So there were just minor revisions of that. Any other comments? Now to call for a vote. All in favor of approving the PRC administration recommended revisions to policies IHA, IDLBC, IHAA, IDCAB, and CN. Then indicate by saying yay. Yay. Any opposers? There be none, motion passed unanimously. To have a motion to consider the first read of PRC administration recommended new policies, DK to DA.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Harry. Have a second. Second. Thank you, Mr. Older. Discussion on that policy. You know, as we know, whenever we introduce a new policy, our policy require us to introduce it, review it, and then we'll have to approve it on our next board meeting. This particular policy, it kind of came up last year because we didn't have a policy that really dictated or spelled out how the free passes or sport passes were to be administered. I think it came up in an audit. So this policy is one of the ways that we got to remedy that situation. So it spells out who and how those passes ought to be issued out. Mr. Jones? No, I'm just reading through it. Oh, okay.
It's good to have it done.
Yeah, I know in the past, we've certainly had some individuals that have gotten sport passes, and especially our elderly, but the policy was not spelled out, so this is a way that we're gonna rectify it. If not, again, this is just a first read, so we'll have an opportunity on the next board meeting to vote on this. And so you get home and get a chance to look at this in more detail. If you have any questions, by all means, please forward those to the administration. Okay. But I have a motion to consider discussing a date for the board workshop.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right, so now the board workshop that we talked about is where we actually go with the results and the numbers and stuff.
Last year, you scheduled the workshop in September, but the state assessment results will be approved by the state board in September 28th. So we would be able to discuss that in October workshop. So if you decided to have that workshop prior to your regularly scheduled meeting.
In October.
That's correct. Or any month, but October would be, all those results will be ready for us to present to you.
But like October the 1st,
For your next,
our next board meeting is October 12th.
I didn't know if y'all wanted to schedule it like last year, you scheduled it right before your regular scheduled board meeting, like it'd be October 12th. That's okay, or we can do it another
What,
day. I'm just
what-
trying to think of y'all.
How much time is required for that?
Last year was a 3-hour workshop.
So we did like 2
Did we do
o'clock.
like 12 to 3 or? It was like y'all did it and then we
Broke it
went,
up.
y'all had like maybe a half-hour break and then went to 14. What, is that right?
I know your schedules, all your schedules are tight, so I'm just trying to figure out a way that we can maybe do that together with a board meeting, if you have more time to prepare for that.
So he's suggesting doing it on the 12th, just the afternoon before.
That was my suggestion, if y'all are good with that.
Well, if it's a 5:30 board meeting,
He's talking about doing the workshop before.
right, but if it's 3 hours,
And we can start at 2.
Do it 2
If y'all
o'clock.
want to Do that, go straight into the board. Or have a 30-minute.
I'm good with that. Yeah,
I gotta check my schedule.
yeah.
No, 2 o'clock is fine.
7
7 a.m. And I gotta be in the gym. I need a motion for that? Yeah, we gonna need a motion.
Motion that we have the board workshop on the 12th at 2 in the afternoon.
They have a motion to set the board workshop for October 12th. October the 12th. At 2 o'clock.
Sir.
2 p.m. Have a motion. You have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Yeah, if that's okay with the board. On that day, we have the conference room in our district office. That way we wouldn't take up space for students or you, time y'all are good with it. And we have a presentation, more technology installed. It'd be conducive to that. So
Yeah, and then we will leave that and come back here for the.
come back here for the board. That would give us a 30-minute break to get that ready for the regular schedule.
Call for a vote. All in favor of setting the workshop for October 12th at 2 p.m. at the central office board. Let me indicate you're saying yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any opposers? There be none. Motion passed unanimously. We'll have that workshop before our board meeting on October 12th. Could I have a motion to consider discussing a date for the annual school board walkthrough inspection? Have a motion.
Make a motion, we consider discussing the date for the annual school board walkthrough inspection.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Have a second. Second. Thank you, Mr. Dice. So normally we have these board walkthroughs, we have this part of our state requirement that we visit the schools and we try to get it all consolidated into one day. And that's how we have been doing it in the past. So we're looking for a date to do that again this year. Kind of have done it November, December timeframe. So I wonder if you got any kind of preferences, right?
You know, we talked before about breaking that up.
We did.
I know it's harder to come to days for a lot of people, but just bringing that back up.
Yeah, and the reason we brought that up the last time about potentially breaking it up into 2 days, because what normally happens, we get in the morning and we'll start the walkthroughs, and by midway through the walkthrough, some of the board members have got other priorities, got other obligations, and kind of check out. And so we don't get the full participation the entire time. And so the thought was perhaps we could split over 2 day time period, maybe a less of a burden on the administration, and maybe get everybody full participation. And the other part of it, when we do it the entire day, some of the other schools may get shortchanged because of you're rushing trying to finish it up. So the thought was if we could do it on a 2 day time period, again, understanding everybody got a tight schedule, it may be more beneficial.
That's good for me. We can do that. We can accommodate that.
Board, how you feel?
Yeah, I think it's okay if they weren't right
Right back
close
to
to each other, but you know, I can see doing elementary and Endeavor and then coming back and doing this whole, or vice versa.
Yeah,
Doing this junior high.
And there's no reason, there's nothing to say we have to do it back to back. So if you had to go between several days or even weeks, that's something we can do. Can do that. The only thing we just have to keep good notes and make sure we do a good report out in the December timeframe. So right now, there's a suggestion to do it half a day in November and half a day in December.
NJROTC doing the take program.
Should, yeah, should be.
Veterans Day's on the 10th.
The 10th of November, yes. We got a board meeting on the 9th.
9th is good. I don't know if anybody's going to the administrative fall conference. That's the 13th and 14th.
Richard has to go. He has no choice.
I'll be there. Yeah, but, so again, half a day in November and a half a day in December. You know, that following week, the November the 19th, that's the Thanksgiving week. So I don't think I want to do it that week.
What about the night before the board meeting?
Yeah. You could start
At lunchtime.
and then go right.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yes.
What time?
Probably want to get here about 12,
Yeah.
so you could be get Endeavor first because they dismiss a little early and then come. If you want to do Endeavor elementary that day, elementary releases a little early too. So that's
Mr. Childs, if the board would consider doing secondary in November, because state testing, remember, takes up high school in December.
decent.
So if you would consider doing secondary on the front.
Yeah, and that would be better because your elementary and Endeavor, they release early than high school.
Yeah, well, what we can do, you know, we'll just pick the date. You guys tell me which school we need to go to.
That order? All right, so November the 9th at 12.
So that'll give us roughly 4 hours, 4.5 hours to do that first part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then let's just do the same thing for December.
December 14th. The
It's
suggestion
easy to remember. It's one day.
Yeah,
Same time, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll be free on the 14th. So right now, the suggestion is to do November the 9th and December the 14th, both times before the board meeting, which gives us an opportunity to do everything in that one day. And also we'll let the administration decide which school we go to first, which will be the least disruptive to the school district.
Y'all aren't getting out of feeding us. So
You'll
Mr.
get
Harris?
something between the walkthrough and the board meeting.
Thank you. Mr.
You'll
Harris
get
said we
something
still got
between
these.
board meeting and walkthrough.
All right. So we have a motion to set those dates.
Motion, we set November 9th at 12, December 14th at 12 for the board walkthrough inspection.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We have a motion on the floor that we use November 9th and December 14th at 12 o'clock on both days for our board walk. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Herring. Any other discussion? If not, call for a vote. All in favor of setting the board walkthrough as indicated, let me indicate by saying yea. Yea. Any opposed? There be none, motion passed unanimously. Could I have a motion to go into closed session to determine if we need to go into executive session? Motion. Thank you, Mr. Dice. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Harry. Call for a vote. All in favor of going to closed session to determine if we need to go into executive session, then again, indicate by saying yea.
Yea.
Any opposers? There be none, motion passed unanimously. For 9 closed session.